are going to graph this equation, first we're going to get it in the correct form here. Okay, so you do need to, excuse me, look right here and you see that you're going to have to factor out a 2. So I'm going to say y equals 5 sine of, and then take my 2 out, which leaves me with x minus pi on the inside. And I'm going to go ahead and put my 3 at the end. So that's easy to figure out my a, b, and c. So my a here is 5, my b is 2, my c is pi. Remember that we changed the sign there. And my d is 3, okay? Next, I need to go ahead and find my period. So remember that our period is equal to 2 pi over b. I'm using 2 pi instead of 360 because this one is in radians. I noticed that there were pi's involved here, okay? So that's going to be 2 pi over 2, which equals pi. So I need to get one whole sine curve in pi, okay? Now, I need to figure out what those intervals are going to be on my graph. So remember, we always cut it in 4s. So if I divide this by 4, this is how big my intervals are going to need to be, okay? So here's my graph, okay? Once you have your graph, you are going to draw a dotted line at your midline. So your midline is always what D is. So D was 3 in this case, okay? So I'm going to go to 1, 2, 3 and draw a dotted line. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw a dotted line at my maximums and where my maximums and minimums will go. And I find that by using A. A is 5. So from my midline, I need to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that. And then from my midline, I need to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be this one. So it's up at 8 and down at -2. And this is 3 right here. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and label my axes here. So remember, we were going to go by pi over 4s. So that's 1/4. Easy way to figure this out is 1/4, then 2/4, which is 1/2. So this is pi over 2. Then 3/4, which makes 3 pi over 4, and then 4/4, which is 1 whole, so that's 1 whole pi, and then 5/4, so 5 pi over 4, and then 6/4, which is 3 pi over 2, I'm just reducing, and then 7/4, so 7 pi over 4, and then 8/4, which is a full 2 pi, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and erase these fractions down here. And I'm going to use my pen to graph here. So please remember that with a sine curve, you're following the pattern intercept, maximum, intercept, minimum, intercept, as long as your A is positive. And since it's positive, that's what we're using. So our C is going to shift this graph, so we want to make sure that we start at whatever our C was. So in this problem, our C was pi. So here's pi right here. So I'm going to start there, and remember that I need to do my intercept. My intercept is now at my midline, okay? So I'm going to say intercept. Next one is maximum, so I got to go up with my next interval here and put it at the very top. And then the next one is intercept, so another intercept here. And then minimum, so I got to go down to my minimum here. Okay, and then intercept again. So that should be one full sine curve there. So let's see, here's my intercept. So here, up, down to there. Oh, I've accidentally put that in the wrong spot. It needs to be up there at my intercept. Don't accidentally put it on your origin, because that's what you're used to doing. So I got a full sine curve from pi to 2 pi, and we knew that our period was pi, so we know we're right. Now, you do want to try and fill in the rest of the curve here. So we can go backwards. So we can say from right here, this one was an intercept, so, and the next one is maximum, so before it has to be a minimum. So over here I'm going to have to have a minimum, and then I'm going to have an intercept, and then I'm going to have a maximum, and then I'm going to have an intercept. So if I go here, there is the rest of it there.